begin this morning with the ballots for November now set. The matchups will determine the state's next governor, its next U.S. senator, and who represents Tampa Bay.
And we begin with the race for governor, where the battle to replace Ron DeSantis is heating up this morning. Trump-backed Republican Byron Donalds is going to face Democrat David Jolly. Both won their party's primary overnight, advancing to a general election that's going to determine who replaces term-limited Governor DeSantis.
We're going to hear from both candidates in just a moment, but first, the St. Petersburg mayor's race is heading for a runoff. Former Florida Governor Charlie Crist finished first with just over 35%, falling short of the majority needed to win outright. He will now face incumbent Mayor Ken Welch in November. 10 Tampa Bay's Jenny Dean joining us live from St. Pete City Hall this morning.
Yeah, Jenny, even though this is going to be a runoff in November, Chris had a decisive lead over Welch last night. Not over yet, though.
No, not over yet by a long shot. Crist got 35% of the vote to Welch's nearly 21%. But both of these candidates, they are in this, and it is not over, as you mentioned. So let's start with Charlie Crist. He is politically savvy. He has been Florida's governor. He's been a congressman, a state senator. He's also been a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent. And now he wants to be mayor of his hometown. Welch is a third-generation St. Pete resident. He led this city through the recovery from Helene and Milton, and he focuses on growth and resilience. But now the focus for both of these candidates is how to get the votes from the other candidates that didn't make the cut.
I think just keep doing what I've been doing, being a good listener, caring about them. Charlie Crist actually cares, and I care deeply about this city, and I'll do everything I can to make it more affordable, to keep it safe.
Over the coming weeks, and as always, I will be in your neighborhoods, listening to residents and making the case for the progress we've made and what comes next.
Welch said last night that the playoffs are over now, and he and his team are headed to the championship. Crist said in his speech that he is full of gratitude and not attitude. Both candidates excited to get right back out on the campaign trail to face off in November. Live in St. Pete, Jenny Dean, 10 Tampa Bay News.
My administration will be guided by three pillars: making Florida accountable, achievable, and most of all, affordable.
We are celebrating more than just a primary victory. We are celebrating the return of a resiliency.
Well, David Jolly secured his party's nomination for governor with more than 60% of the vote. The victory marking a political comeback and a major shift for the former Republican congressman. Bilyana Garland was at Jolly's Miami Lakes watch party last night and has a closer look at his political journey and what he's now promising his voters.
David Jolly is the Democratic nominee who will then face off against Byron Donalds, the Republican nominee, in November. But Jolly has an interesting political past. He started off as a Republican congressman, then became a staunch critic of President Donald Trump, then became an independent, and now he is a Democrat as of last year. And so he hits on a lot of different priorities, but his main one is about creating a state fund to cover the losses from hurricanes and other disasters, expanding primary care delivery to all counties in Florida, and he proposes a 10-year renaissance on public education.
You know, it's politics, it's always an uphill battle. And I would say most cycles, Florida is not in a place to elect a Democratic governor. 4 years ago, Democrats weren't in touch with where voters were, despite the values being in the right place. But now voters are asking for change. I didn't come into the party to change it. I came into it to grow it. You don't have to join the Democratic Party. You don't have to leave your party, but consider a moment where we trust each other again. Bigger than ideology.
No matter what party you're in, you're tired. You're tired of the vitriol, the negativity. The politics has become so ugly, and it's very sad today the way things are. And I do believe that the Florida legislature, they will be relieved to have a Governor Jolly and a Lieutenant Governor Graham who want to work together and put aside the negativity and find ways to do the right thing for the people of Florida.
And we're also learning from the office of David Jolly that he invested $1 million into a campaign ad titled Broken, and that focuses on how Floridians have been pitted against each other, and that he will be the change not only for the Democrats but for all of Floridians. In Miami Lakes, I'm Bilyana Garland, 10 Tampa Bay News.
On the Republican side, Byron Donalds enters the general election with President Trump's endorsement and a decisive primary victory, winning 47% of the vote. The Southwest Florida congressman could make history as the state's first black governor if he wins in November. Sidney Deshawn breaks down the promises Donalds is making to Florida voters.
As Byron Donalds wins the Republican nomination for Florida governor, he was a clear front runner with nearly half of all votes counted in his favor. We heard from him, and he laid out what he says are his top 3 priorities for the state of Florida, making it more accountable, more achievable, and more affordable. This is what Donalds told his supporters.
I will keep your taxes low. I will lower your insurance costs. I will protect school choice. I will stand with law enforcement. I will defend common sense when it comes to protecting our girls and our children's puberty. And I will make Florida more affordable. The general election starts tonight, and I can't do this alone. I need your prayers, I need your energy, and I need your hard work. So I ask you, are you with me to keep Florida red?
We also spoke with Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters about his excitement.
I like the fact that he fights for us up in D.C. all the time. You hear it, you can see it, you can see the passion, you can see that actually cares about what's going on. And I'm very, very glad that as we say goodbye to one of the greatest governors ever, we're going to have another great one coming behind him. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited for our state.
Reporting from Orlando, Sidney Deshawn, 10 Tampa Bay News.
Well, this morning, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, who finished second behind Byron Donalds, is throwing his support behind the Republican nominee. Conceding in this statement on X, Collins congratulated Donalds on his victory while thanking his campaign team and vowing to help keep Florida under Republican leadership in November.
Collins' loss also leaves questions right now about the future of his running mate, Kevin Guthrie. Guthrie resigned as Florida's emergency management director after joining the ticket. While in Sarasota, Governor Ron DeSantis had wished Guthrie luck but said politics and emergency management should not mix. The governor named Transportation Secretary Jared Perdue to lead both agencies and says the change will not disrupt Florida's hurricane response.
Well, closely watched Tampa Bay congressional race, I should say, is now set. Former state representative Mike Beltran won the Republican primary in District 14. He'll challenge longtime Democratic Congresswoman Kathy Castor this November. Castor advanced unopposed there, but now faces her first campaign under Florida's new 2026 congressional map, which makes District 14 far more competitive for Republicans. As you can see, the shift here, District 14 now covers parts of District 14. It used to cover parts of Tampa and St. Pete. Now it covers less of Tampa and a majority of Hillsborough County. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Chris Hurst breaks down the impact of this new map.
He has a stiff challenge ahead of him, but they think it's a key flip opportunity as he now takes on 10-term Democratic incumbent Kathy Castor in the newly redrawn Congressional District 14 here in Florida. Beltran greeting supporters at a GOP watch party on Harbor Island. He tells us if elected, he'll bring a common sense approach to Washington and tackle affordability.
We need to work with the other side. We need to have good common sense policies, address the cost of living, address these issues, these pocketbook, kitchen table type issues that the voters are actually concerned about, and make sure that we do the work of the American people. Be fiscal conservatives, make sure that we get spending under control, because that's the primary driver of inflation and the high cost of living that we're experiencing, especially here in Tampa.
This district now is more right-leaning after Florida redistricted congressional seats, so Republicans think flipping this seat is key for them to hold on to their slim margin of power. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee came out swinging already against Beltran, saying, quote, he will rubber stamp policies that are raising the cost of gas, groceries, health care, and housing, end quote. Adding, Kathy Castor has spent her career delivering for the Tampa region and combating special interests to lower costs. Now back to you.
Well, this morning, county canvassing boards are going to start to review all primary election results. Counties have until noon next Wednesday to submit their official certified results here. The state is scheduled to certify statewide results next Thursday.
And our election coverage continues in the next half hour, including the upset reshaping Florida's U.S. Senate race and the matchup voters will decide in November. And we're scrolling the latest election results right there at the bottom of your screen all morning long. You can also head to 10tampabay.com/elections for the complete results from key statewide and local